I want to know if you could help me dispel some myths, some common myths that Black people might hold as it relates to mental health. So I would love for you each to give me a little bit of an insight on something that you've heard that you want to help the rest of us understand as it pertains to mental health. What's a lie?
Well, language is so important, and I think right now in our community, especially the Black community, the word mental health is so convoluted, and we don't understand the difference between mental health and mental illness. So when we're talking about the myths, while we're saying mental health, I think within the Black community, we're misconstruing it with mental illness. So there's this misconception that mental illness is a white people thing. It doesn't impact our communities. Or if we were to seek therapy, it's a sign of weakness when it's really a sign of strength. So I'll say those are some of the biggest myths that I see within our community, or even people when they seek me out and they see that I'm a Black woman and they're like, well, you know, I feel a way. I feel like I'm not being strong enough because I'm calling you. And I'm like, do you see so much strength in the fact that you picked up that phone and even dialed me and even sought me out, and you're taking the next steps to move forward? So I have a whole long list, but I don't want to run it down because I know we have some other ladies here. But yeah, I'll leave it there.
Thank you.
I think going along with that, mental health, when you hear mental health or mental health awareness, people only focus on diagnosis. And that's not what it's about. I tell people mental health is about maintenance of self and making sure that you get what you need. And going into that, I have a lot of clients who will say, well, I thought I was healed by now.
Yeah, they be wanting to microwave it. Like,
I talked about this already. I'm healed. And I'm like, I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. Healing is not a finite thing. We are always healing, and it's a continual process. And to think that, okay, I've gone through something and I've talked about it, so therefore it's done, is one of the biggest myths.
One of the things that comes up is that our experience being Black or being marginalized in any way is so normalized that the belief is that there's nothing you can do about it when it comes to your mental health. It's just the experience, and so you just have to bear it and like deal with it. And the experience I've had with people who come in and I'm like, no, it's not racism that's impacting you. It's like the impact of racism on you. It's anxiety as your relationship grows with racism. It's depression as you are in relationship with racism. And those are things that you can work through, even if we can't necessarily make racism go away, which, but we can learn how to take care of ourselves with it. And I think moving away from the normalization of anxiety, of depression, of low self-esteem in relation to racism, and really addressing it through mental health support.
Yeah, I think about the sayings that we have that have been passed down generation to generation in the Black community, like family business is family business. And so if you go seek help, then you're betraying the family. And I just think that sets us up for continuing the intergenerational trauma. It's disempowering, and then folks don't seek help. So I like to remind people that pouring into yourself and getting help is not a betrayal to the family, and in fact can push healing forward for the family. And I love what you said, Bentley, as well, because I feel like we think about mental illness as a deficit and not as a depression or anxiety as a reasonable response for the isms and the systems that we live in. And so when we think about it that way, it really creates some spaciousness for self-compassion, which I think can make it easier to show up in healing spaces.
Yeah, I was definitely thinking the same thing. So often we internalize. I find myself telling people, "You're not tripping." Like there's a good reason. Like how else would you respond to this type of condition? So it's not just you. It's not a you problem. Like there's something you're experiencing. There are a lot of societal impacts that are showing up in your well-being, and so I think that helps people to sometimes relax their shoulders a bit. Right, that they're not inherently broken, but that they are doing their best they can in really terrible conditions. I'm not going to curse because this is going to be
Yeah.
recorded. And so,
Yeah, it's like if you go somewhere and you eat something and you get food poisoning,
yeah.
you're not blaming yourself or saying that was my
I
fault.
shouldn't have gone to that dinner.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so when we are being poisoned by all these,
Intentionally.
intentionally for eons, and then denying ourselves the support, judging ourselves for the way that we feel that is very natural and reasonable, they got us twisted. They got it twisted. Yeah.